almost there.
Hey guys, welcome to Massive Iron Live. I think I got dog hair all over me. Welcome to Massive Iron Live. It's Friday, July 8th. I appreciate you guys joining me. I'll be on as long as you have questions. So, for those of you guys that are in, let me know where you're tuning in from, what you're training today, what your weekend is looking like. Here in Ohio, I'm looking out my window and it's raining. I was going to try to do a 2-hour run tonight. Let's hope it stops raining immediately, but it's Ohio. I got in an hour yesterday. So just a couple things before we get started. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. If your question doesn't go through, head over to Instagram. Let me just get this on here, the banner. Head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM with your questions. I'd be happy to answer your questions. And if your question is not going through, you could try shortening it or rephrasing it. YouTube, it's not me ignoring you. YouTube can be super crazy with what it shows and doesn't show. So definitely not me ignoring. So what's going on? What's the big news this week? Things are kind of slow in the old fitness industry. No big news. Things are kind of quiet. Just kind of a cruise forward weekend. Nothing crazy going on. I didn't see any really crazy news. I kept my eye on the whole testosterone thing, but looks like that's just trying to float along. Now, just a reminder, anybody that posts a question before live starts gets a chance to win a Crom shirt. 3 days Grace said, what's Crom? Should we put him in the shame corner? Should we put 3 days Grace in the shame corner? Please tell 3 days Grace who Crom is. Seriously though, 3 days Grace, Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Barbarian. Crom is the god that Conan pleads to. So everybody's homework this weekend is to watch Conan. All right, guys, I'm going to stay on as long as you guys have questions. Let's dive into things and get this Friday rolling along. If you are new here, don't be shy about asking questions. There are no dumb questions. They're just stupid questions, awkward questions, weird questions, bizarre questions, questions we really don't want to see. But seriously, though, don't feel like your question's been answered 1,000 times. I'd be happy to help you. The only real thing as a coach, and I'm just going to mention this before I get into things, one of the bizarre things about coaching is when someone uses a program by a different coach, okay? And I don't care that they're using a program by a different coach. I really don't care. So let's establish that. But when someone uses a program by a different coach and then they keep coming to you wanting your opinion on it, wanting you to fix it, wanting you to improve it, wanting you to make, put your slant on it, right? And like, just use one of my programs. That's my slant on things. But every coach gets it. It's just kind of a funny thing. Like someone will use a program by another coach, and then they'll want your slant on. I forgot what was I listening to this week during a run that you need to tether yourself to one coach, one mentor. It's not that one is better than another, but it's like having two parachutes when you have two coaches or two mentors or two people you're trying to program something off of, or glean their programming advice and create workouts. It's basically like having two parachutes. So it's best just to find one dog and run with the dog. All right. I love the Friday live streams. No questions today from me. Just loving the content. Thank you. I sincerely appreciate the support. This individual tags me on Instagram, and I like when you guys do that. I really do. It means a lot to see my shirts out there, to see you guys using my workouts. So feel free to tag me. Big Bob Fish. Is there much difference in deloading different movements at different times? Chest and shoulders moving, flying up, squats regressing after a month. No, you can deload whenever you want. There are no rules. The main rule is to keep your butt moving. Keep progress coming. Keep the body from feeling beaten up, and just keep moving forward. I don't overly think deloads. I don't take deloads. Actually, I hate the damn word. I hate it because it's just so overused in the modern realm. People looking for reasons to deload. They're looking over their shoulder to see if the ghost of deload is coming. And look, just try to keep things simple. That's my best advice for you guys. If you feel beat up, take a couple days off. Don't just plan a whole week off. Like if I feel beat up today from running, I'm not going to just take a whole week off, right? I'm going to take tomorrow off, see how I feel. Take the next day off, see how I feel. If you're regressing on a lift, that generally doesn't mean you need a deload. Generally, something else is going on, unless you're doing a lot of overreaching. Regression on a lift, like one workout where you regress, that's normal. You're not going to always progress. There's different mechanisms in the body. We have muscle, we have connective tissue, we have bone, we have central nervous system, we have our immune system. We got all these different systems working, and then we throw in sleep and hormones and all this kind of stuff. So I don't know your situation, Bob, but if you just had one workout that's a backtrack, that's fine. If you have two workouts that are backtracks, back to back, it could be a sign that something's broken or something needs fixing. But if you do feel cumulative fatigue, then you can feel free to, take a couple extra days off or just deload your leg workout, if that makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that. I do that with clients all the time. We'll deload specific movements, or we'll deload a body part. So before I move on, I hope you guys that are in the States had a good 4th. Hope you guys in Canada had a good Canada Day. I decided to open up 5 client slots for a while. In coaching, you basically, get one person leave every week, every 2 weeks. It's just someone's getting married, someone's moving house, someone's changing jobs, right? Just the nature of coaching. So for a while, I let my coaching numbers just slide down. And this weekend, I had a 4th of July sale. I put up, asked for 5 new clients, booked that up pretty quickly. I appreciate everybody who sent an inquiry. I made room for actually, I was at a car show, so I was working while my wife was doing her car show stuff, and I accidentally booked in 7 clients rather than 5. So it's been a busy week. So I'm not adding new clients right now, but I am going to be, now that I'm done building my client workouts. For those that are interested in building a bigger bench, watch this weekend. I'm going to put together 5 custom bench workouts with a couple different phases. Really custom stuff for guys that want to build their bench. It's not coaching, but I'm going to be putting together a customized program for 5 people that want to build up their bench based on their equipment, their injury history, etc. So watch for that. If you are interested, that's just a one-time program. So where are we? Stein, how's it going? Stein, welcome to the party. Question. I'm trying to see what you have over your avatar's face. Question. Can someone make progress on the same routine forever? Well, I'm just going to be honest. That's a non-question. It's kind of a non-question, right? No one does that, really. So, but I think the heart of the question is, can you use basically the same routine forever? Yeah, you can. I use basically the same routine for 20 years. I just evolved my programming. It's the same damn lifts. It really is. And people are going to play around, try new things, try new exercises. But you're going to have to evolve your programming based on needs, not just stick to arbitrary stuff. So basically, if you start a program now and you run it for 20 years and you're evolving programming based on needs, it's not going to look like the same program after 20 years, but it'll have, it started as one program. You're not hopping over to Joe Smith's 4x6 program and then Pete Smith's 3x8 program. So yeah, it's all the same damn exercises. We put way too much focus in programs, and really the heart of this is mental strength and progression and consistency. If you're getting bored, like I've had clients that got bored off programs off after a month, and I'm just being honest here. This is not making fun of anybody, but if you're bored of your program after a month, and this is something that's happening over and over again, you might need to take up knitting, because it's the same damn exercises. It really is. And the gym isn't there to entertain you. You don't run to be entertained. You play video games to be entertained. If you don't enjoy the process, I'm not saying you don't, Ann. I'm just saying in general, it's the same damn exercises. The same damn exercises. And you have to evolve your program based on needs. That's a pillar that I've preached for years. So you could start out with a program now, and in 20 years that program is going to be completely different. But it was the same program you started with. You just continue to change things. Injuries are going to come up. You're going to find a exercise for your hamstrings that's better than the old exercise. Like I like glute ham raises on a back extension more than I like leg curls. So that new piece kind of gets slid in maybe every other session for starters. And then over time, maybe it becomes the only lift I do in that slot. So, on the other hand, it's okay to try new things. It really is. As long as you understand it's the same damn exercises, right? And it's the little things that matter in lifting, like Pendley rows. You might not like 8-rep sets. You might like 6-rep sets. That's fine. As long as you're progressing, that's fine. You might like 12-rep sets. You might be a masochist. That's fine. Rep ranges don't really matter. Progression, consistency, those are the things that matter. So if you want to try something different, if you want to try like massive mass in a 4-month block, that's fine. And then power muscle block in a 4-month block, that's fine. What you really need to do, whatever you do, is if you try a new program, after the first 2 or 3 weeks, which is a break-in period, you need to be willing to run it for about 3 months, maybe 4 months, because the first couple of weeks is just a break-in period. And after that, that's when we really start to make really good progress on a program. Stein, how important is it to feel your muscle work? Not important at all. And somebody's going to get excited. That doesn't really mean I never do that ever on any muscle. I do that a lot on my back, but if look on your back, for example, lat pull downs. If I focus on driving the shoulder and the elbow back to move the weight, that's I focus on working the back, so I'm not working my biceps. So you could focus on that good form. But if you don't have to feel a muscle work. Most of the lifts we're doing are compound in nature. It's not important at all. It's important to have good form that will facilitate muscle growth. It's important to have good control of the weight. One thing eccentrics, I'm not an eccentric slow-mo type of guy. But if you do not control the weight during the eccentric, it's going to beat you up, and you're going to, over time, you're just causing all kinds of crazy things to stop the weight. Like on a lat pull down, if you drive it back and then you're jerking it up, your biceps or your shoulders or whatever have to stop that, chaos. So you want to be in control of the weight. But there's body parts I've never felt working. I never feel my chest working on bench. I just try to focus on form. I never feel my shoulders specifically working on overhead pressing. I focus on form. that doesn't mean I don't get insane shoulder pumps. So, but every muscle group's different. On triceps, I focus on form, but you start to pick up a tricep pump. Biceps and back are really the ones I try to feel. Some of it's just so I can stay in tune with the exercise and make sure my form is good. On back, I focus on feeling the back because I want to make sure my form is good. If I can't feel my back on back, I'm probably too sloppy or not driving my elbows and shoulders back. So every exercise, every movement pattern can be different. Let's just understand that. I don't worry about feeling my quads on squats because I'm just trying to get good form so I don't tear up my hips or knees. Leg press is a little bit more nuanced. As long as my knees are in a right groove, then feeling the quads isn't a bad thing. But if you don't feel your quads, if you have good form, will it matter? No. So very, very complex topic, but it is not a requirement for muscle growth. You want to focus on good quality form, controlling the weight, progressive overload, etc. But there are some exercises and some movement patterns and some body parts where feeling it can really help you stay in tune with good form, if that makes sense. Team Massive, it's been a mentally tough week for me. Thanks for the live therapy. I'm sorry to hear that, and I hope things improve. We all have weeks like that. I do as well. I'm not going to be one of these fitness influencers that pretends like life is all happy and perfect all the time. There's so much of that bullshit out there. And I'm not going to lie, before I met my wife, I was seeing someone that was very fake positive, like had to post, all this fake positivity on social media, and not be real. And it's okay to be real. I was real last night in posting about my binge eating on Instagram. It's okay to be real. If anybody's threatened by you being real or you being vulnerable, they're just a piece of human trash. They got their stuff to work on. Right now, they're in a bad place. Done deal. Can you build muscle at maintenance? No, not efficiently, not effectively. No. It's, I've answered this question a million times over the years, and it's if we could, we'd be doing it. There are some beginners, like I posted a client that made amazing progress in 3 months. He gained maybe 3 or 4 pounds of muscle. If you're a beginner, you can make some, but it's going to level off really, really quickly. And after that really novice stage, no, you can't do 2 things at a time efficiently. It's not like you can't build an ounce of muscle on maintenance. You might be able to build an ounce or 2, but it's super inefficient, super ineffective. And why would you put yourself in that hole? Why are you going to put yourself in that position to make things 10 times harder than they are? Look, 99% of people can't build the muscle they want, and then we're going to put ourselves on maintenance and make it more difficult. That's ridiculous. Anybody that's built serious muscle mass has done so in a calorie surplus, adding on weight. Period. End of story. This question needs a die, and I'm not coming after you, done deal. I appreciate the question, but this whole concept is just what I posted about yesterday. People looking for shortcuts. And at the heart of this question is people afraid of getting fat, and it's completely irrational. If you start out at 170 and you're training properly, you need to trust that if you gain 10 pounds over 4 or 5 months, 60 to 70% of that's going to be muscle. If not, you're not training hard enough, and you got bigger problems than getting fat because you're spending a lot of time in gym spinning your wheels. So I hope that helps some. Doc, between a leverage squat that we know you love or a combination hack squat leg press that can do 2 exercises, which would you recommend for a home gym? 100% the leverage squat. 100%. Because look, I've seen the hack and the leg press on Titan Fitness and other machines, and I know that every hack and leg press is different. It is. And you never know. I have a client that ordered the hack and leg press, and it's a good machine. There's nothing wrong with it. But the leverage squat, from everybody I've talked to that uses it, not just mine, but the movement in general, guys from Paul Carter to Faz, to everybody I respect, this is a really big up and coming lift. It's great for the quads. It's great for feel. You can use progressive overload. It's one of those cases where 100% of the time I would choose a leverage squat over that. If you want to get additional leg work, the leg extension is a great tool. The leg curl, leg extension. So, leg presses, I've always done. Hack squats, not as much, because there wasn't always a hack squat at the gyms I went to, but I am completely sold on the leverage squats, its benefits, how it feels, the way you can overload it. I'm in love with this exercise, and 100 times out of 100, I would choose personally a leverage squat. Rico, how's it going, Rico? Josh, after 2 weeks, I noticed cable pullovers made my triceps sore. That's correct. One of the functions of the long head of the triceps is rotation. People think with your triceps set, you just got to keep your arms stapled to your side like a robot, right? Don't move your elbows from your side or you're cheating. That's the bro belief. And it's ridiculous. One of the functions of the long head of the tricep is rotation. It has two functions, rotation and extension. Rotation and extension. So when you're doing a pullover, you're going to have that tricep involved because there's rotation. It's a compound movement. That's not a reason to not do the exercise. Just be aware that that's normal and okay. So is it even necessary to have special exercises for the long head? Yeah, absolutely. The triceps are the meat of the arms. You want to beat the living crap out of them. They can take a beating. You want to hit them as hard as you can. They recover quickly. They're not as fragile as the biceps. When I do bicep work, I can feel the tendon, the connective tissue, the tendon around the elbow and stuff like that, the insertion points. And I'm not particularly in love with that feeling. Triceps you can beat up. You can do the PJR pullover, cable tricep extensions, all kinds of good things, overhead extensions, close grip, skull destroyers. You want to beat it up with as many exercises as you can. Yep. Just understand that just because the only thing I'll say, Josh, is just because one exercise makes you sore doesn't mean you shouldn't do more, if that makes sense. Rico, thoughts on power cleans? No. No. Olympic lifts are super inefficient for muscle building. And power cleans and hang cleans, not really a fan of those variations. There are some variations Olympic lifting that are okay for hypertrophy. Power high pulls, are really good for traps and shoulders. But I'm not a big fan at all of cleans or hang cleans as a variation for that. If you like them, do them. Let's not take fun out of the equation at all. I've done them over the years occasionally. I've played with everything. What I would typically do is, typically I would do them after deads, because after deads, the bar feels super light. Your central nervous system is really firing. So if you want to alternate, Rico, like deadlifts 1 week and then a power clean or a hang clean the next week, that's fine. It's kind of like a speed work off day. And there's nothing wrong with it as long as you got plenty of other back work in the mix, and it might help. It might help with pulling on the deadlift, for people that are building strength. But don't think of it as a primary muscle builder. Think of it as something that might help your deadlift, if that makes sense. In the pursuit of strength and size, how often should you expect to feel sore? Initially, when you're just starting out, you should be sore all the time. You should be sore all the time, but you need to understand there are some muscle groups that are almost impossible to make sore. Like I can't really get my shoulders sore. It takes a lot to get my lats sore, etc. So don't be overly concerned with soreness. But with that said, there's some muscle groups that should always be sore when you start out. After that, what do I get sore these days? I'll get mild chest soreness, mild tricep soreness, mild quad hamstring soreness, sometimes mild trap soreness. That's really about it. But it's super mild after all the years I've been lifting. Olympic grade lurker, how's it going? Paul X, difference between stand-up bar and trap bar deadlifts. It's going to be your position relative to the bar. In a deadlift, when you look at somebody from a side view, you don't want their shoulders. It's hard to do this on a camera. You don't want their shoulders directly over the center of the barbell. If so, they're seated too far back, their weight leverages are too far back. When they pull, the hips are going to come up. So you want somebody on a conventional deadlift to have their shoulders just a hair in front of the center of the bar. That's a better leverage position. You have a good ratio of weight forward, weight back. Hips have to be seated properly, and that's going to be the best for a standard barbell deadlift. On a trap bar, you're more over the center of the bar, so it's generally you want to see shoulders over the center of the barbell or where the center of the barbell would be. So it is a better leverage position. You don't have to have your feet behind a bar, so you can have your feet at the center of the bar. You can get more upright. I hope that makes sense. John Doe, how important are meal timings? Not at all. Can I hit my macros in one meal with no impact? You could. I mean, I don't really care about macros. I'm just chasing protein and letting everything else fall into place. So you don't have to micromanage macros. You just have to get enough protein. On meal timing, look, it's not important, but it is important. All right. So here's the thing, like meal timing really doesn't matter as long as you get in your food, but you don't want to be like some counterculture, counter meal timing type of guy who's like, I'm going to work out at 8 in the morning and I'm not going to eat until 8 at night just to show the world, right? That meal timing doesn't matter. Use common sense, eat when you're hungry. Eating one time a day and getting in all the food you need to grow is pretty challenging. So if you can do it, great. I can do fasting more easily on a cut, but on a bulk, there's no way I could eat that much food in one sitting. And I don't have a fast metabolism, right now because I sit all day for work. My maintenance is probably 2,600. And if I had to eat, like if I was trying to bulk or maintain, I could not eat 2,600 calories in a meal unless I was chasing my food, with some ice cream and 3 beers. It'd just be very, very difficult. But to your question, meal timing is not really important, but you want to eat when you're hungry. You want to get some carbs and some food back in your system after a workout to get that recovery process started. But over a long period of time, you don't have to micromanage meal timing. You don't have to eat like 32 minutes after a meal or get in simple sugars immediately after a meal, or the wheels are going to fall off the bus. The body's not that fragile. Mark, why don't your questions show up? Mark, I get this question every week on YouTube, and it's not me, it's YouTube. I have no idea. My questions don't show up on many other people's lives. No idea. It's just part of YouTube, and it happens every week to everybody. I can't tell you why. The only thing I can say is head over to Instagram. I've been the barman. Post up your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them. Ben, morning. Due to time constraints, I may soon be able to only lift 3 days. That's fine. Would I be fine doing upper A than upper B? Ben, what I usually do is a 4-day rotation, a flex schedule, A, B, C, and D. You have 4 workouts. Upper A, posterior A, upper B, posterior B, and rotate between those workouts 3 days a week. And that will give you 1.5 days per week frequency. And, is it going to be optimal volume? It'll be slightly below the curve. Who cares, right? As long as you train hard and you're consistent, little changes like that are absolutely fine. Troy, how's it going? Troy, hey, boss. Trained upper A today here in the UK. Chest, deltacons, and armazoids. Tried a Swiss bar for military press. Yeah, I don't know. As long as I don't like Swiss bar standing. I really don't. I don't want to see you leaning back and putting extra pressure on your lower back. They're better off seated, but if a neutral grip suits you and it feels okay, that's fine. Let's see. Yep, the Bulldog is a solid choice. That's a 3-day. It's more like a push-pull leg, so you can do it 3 or 4 days a week. Gotta love that Crom shirt. If the classic big, hairy, ugly dude could go back, would he rather compete in strongman or bodybuilding? Here's the Crom shirt. I made it myself. You can find it on my website, superlivingtoday.com. All right. Look, I do shirts for passion. I do flags for passion. I do mugs for passion. It's just, I make $1 or $2 off it. It's not like any big deal. So it's not like these guys that are trying to make a living, off having an apparel line. I just do this for fun for myself, and for other lifters. So, where we at? I got lost in the old shuffle-a-rooski. Where are we? The meal timing. We did that. We did that. That. And we're getting on. Start to add extra sets to some movements, including drop sets after some bulldozer sets. I'm on upper posterior AB, lower workout volume. Is it best to do drops ad hoc or should I program them? I don't like to. This is me personally, Troy. I don't like to program in finisher stuff. This is just me personally. I'm not telling you guys you can't. But I like to keep things fluid because some days I might want to do a run the stack on triceps. I might want to do a rest pause on bench. You got to keep the meat and potatoes of your program, the meat and potatoes, so you can facilitate progress and not get beat up in good form. But after that, you can program them in, but you just have to leave yourself an out because you don't want to do finishing stuff at the expense of the bigger picture of your program. So it's okay to leave it out. It's okay to program it in. It's okay to leave it out. It's okay to rotate it. We're talking finisher type stuff. Neil, can any gains after taking SARMs be maintained? Here's what we need to understand. None of this stuff is going to push you into super physiological levels as far as muscle growth, meaning, you're not going to be 15 pounds bigger than the biggest natty on earth. So once you get muscle gains and you lose them, it's really easy to get them back. That doesn't mean Mr. Olympia can stop taking steroids and continue to, get his muscle back. But if it's within the natty limit, okay, let's say this is the natty limit, and you build up that strength and muscle, it's going to be easy to get it back. Big Bill Monte. And just for the record, I have no personal experience with SARMs. In fact, I wouldn't waste a damn cent on any of that crap. That's my opinion. Because they're not going to get you bigger than you can get naturally. And therefore, I think it's an utter waste of time. It's a desperate cry. It's a desperate plea for a shortcut. And, anybody that's training hard enough doesn't need that shit, doesn't need shortcuts. They're going to get there anyway. That's the honest opinion. And that might piss somebody off, but it's true. If you're training hard, you don't need that crap. You don't need that crap. It's crap that's sold to people that are desperately scratching and aren't going to get there anyway because they aren't going to get there without it. And Someone's going to cry, I can get there fast. You ain't going to get there that much faster. What, a week faster over 6 years? Who cares? Right? You'd have got there any damn way. All right, Bill, happy Friday. When cutting and a little strength starts to wane, do you scale the weight, keeping the same? It depends on the lift. So let's say, Bill, you're doing 225 by 6 on bencharoo. All right. We don't pull back on weight right away. But if that goes down to 5, your next workout, you're like, okay, that was maybe a fluke. We're going to keep fighting. Over the next 2 workouts, that bench goes to 215 by 4. So we have some history behind us. We have like 3 workouts and we drop 2 reps. That would be more of a trend that we would need to pay attention to. In that case, I would probably drop 10 pounds. When you get reps to 4 or pretty low on a compound movement, I would drop 10 pounds during a cut. So I hope that helps. Is it ever okay to use a shorter Olympic bar for land? Yeah, you could absolutely do that. It's just a tool, and if that works, it's all about the leverage and leverage points and positions, and if that works better for you, absolutely. Not a lot of people have those types of bars, so I don't always, talk about them on this channel. There are shorter bars, but yeah, you could absolutely do that. Any tool you can use as long as you have progressive overload in the mix. What's your current workout split? My current workout split is the same as it's always been. Chest and triceps, back and biceps, legs and shoulders and traps. That's pretty much it. And volume, I'm not a good example, so I don't want you guys following me. Here's why. After 38 years of training, you can basically roll 45-pound plates around the gym and maintain mass. It's super easy. So understand that. What I do really doesn't matter. It's not applicable to you guys. It really, really isn't. Maintaining mass is super easy. So I just want you guys to understand that. So what I typically do, what does my back day look like? Back day, I work up to 3 sets of deads. Right now I'm doing 5s. And I rarely ever do 5s, but I'm just trying to build my deadlift back up close to 600. And in the meantime, I'm not keeping things complicated. I'm just adding weight every week and doing 3 sets of 5. When I am done with that, I will either do Pendley rows right there where I strip a plate or weight and do Pendley rows right after deadlifts, or I will go upstairs and I will move from deadlifts to dumbbell rows. And after that, in my home gym, I have the capability to do T-bars. I have a machine row station. I have seated rows. I have lat pull downs. So I'll do 2 additional exercises and I'll rotate those every other workout. So I don't know. I stick about 10 to 12 sets for back. And after that, I do biceps, whatever I feel like on a given day. Chest is pretty much the same type of protocol. What do I do for chest? I do my bench work, whatever I feel like doing, 5, 10, 10, 20, or heavier stuff. And then I do dumbbell benching, 3 sets of 10 or whatever I feel like. I have a plate loaded machine chest press. I'll do push-ups or in TRX push-ups. And then I'll move on to my tricep work, which could be skull destroyers, cable tricep extensions. I have an assisted triceps push down machine. It's not an assisted, some people call it an assisted dip, but it's one of the seated machines. I have one of those in my home gym. I do those as well. And liggies, squats, leverage squats, leg extensions, leg curls, sissy squats, and sometimes RDLs or glute hams on a back extension station. And shoulders, I'm doing pin pressing. I like the seated pin press. You can just set the bar on the rack and go. I do single arm dumbbell overhead presses. I do side lateral raises, some rear delt swings, and a whole lot of shruggies. So that's about what I'm doing right now. Richard Murray, how do you feel about foam rolling? I'd rather toss the foam roller in the fire just to get the fire going. No, no, I don't care. If you want a foam roll, go ahead. Anything that can, if you want to do some form of recovery work, what I always liked when I was lifting was taking a hot bath, right? That's just what I liked. I would get in, take a hot bath. I would soak the muscles. I'd feel better. I'm old school. That's what I would do. I'm not somebody that wants to go into the gym. When I go in the gym, I want to tear weight up. This is me. I'm not speaking for you guys. I don't want to do prehab, rehab, foam rolling, extreme stretching, all this kind of, knees over toes crap, all this kind of, Joe Steele's 15-point shoulder warm up bullshit. Fuck that. I don't want to do that stuff. I want to lift weights. And I'm not saying you guys can't do that stuff. So it has value if there's value for you, Richard. And I'm not dancing around the question, but if it helps you get loose, if it helps work out the knots before you lift, absolutely go for it. Let's see. Adam, have you ever done a dumbbell only series? I've made dumbbell only workouts, and I've done plenty of dumbbell only for clients. I think I have dumbbell onlys at Muscle and Strength, maybe even Tiger Fitness. So yeah, I've done plenty of them. I don't know that I've released officially a dumbbell only workout. You say, no, this isn't down your lane. Absolutely. Everything's down my lane. I put out workouts for everybody, everything. I've done over the years. I've written for Critical Bench. I've written for Female Muscle. I've written for Muscle and Brawn, Tiger Fitness, Muscle and Strength. I've had my articles on many websites, and I've done several dumbbell onlys. I've done every variation you can imagine. And look, here's the honest truth. You can go a long way with dumbbells on most body parts, but on some you can't. So another problem is most people don't have enough dumbbell weight to really make a dumbbell workout work. Because a dumbbell workout can work well on side lateral raises and single arm dumbbell overhead presses and things like that. But dumbbell rows, if you only got like 60s, my wife can dumbbell row 60s. Let's be real. You're going to need more weight. So there are restrictions on some important exercises like back. It's harder to work back with dumbbells because you don't really have enough weight. It's harder to work legs because you really don't have enough weight. You don't have enough good exercises. You're tethered to like goblet squats and things like that. You can do Bulgarians with a dumbbell. You can do lunges with a dumbbell. The honest truth, Adam, is that I've made dumbbell only workouts in the past, but like I'm beyond it because people got to get a gym membership or a bar. It's just not efficient. In the short term, if you have to do it, do it. But in the long run, some tough decisions have to be made. If you don't have a barbell, sell your mom's kidney on eBay, right? Do something, start an OnlyFans, right? Do something to build out that home gym or to get a gym membership. Humor aside, it's just not a good way of training, for what I want to do. It can be like to fill in the gaps when you don't have access to a barbell or a gym for the short term. Like there's weird situations. We got guys on Team Massive that went off to a summer camp, or I have guys that go on to visit family for a month during the summer and they can only do dumbbell work or whatever. The cases like that, I could build one, but don't really like it. I don't really like it. It's okay for pressing. Jimmy, Toxic positivity is real and impacts all aspects of life. It can be extremely destructive in business. Yeah, fake positivity. I mean, it's something that's not talked about, you know, like it's something like, oh, don't be negative. Like people expressing feelings, people being real, people looking at real problems that might occur in your business or personal life. That's not negativity. There's a difference between negativity and being real or analyzing things in a rational, reasonable manner. And there are people that are fake positive that always, like, don't be like that. Look on the bright side. Every day is a good day. And, inside they're hurting. And, they're trying to lie to themselves or convince themselves they're okay when they're not. That's not a good thing. And the same in business. You're trying to lie to ourselves or tell ourselves things are good when they're not, right? It's okay to say things aren't good. It's okay to say something's broken. I'm going to be real here with you guys. Binge eating nearly killed me. I've talked about this on this channel. Why? I don't know. How did it creep in? I don't know. It just was like a slow water drip. It came into my life. I was married for 17 years in a relationship that wasn't healthy for me. This person wasn't a bad person. Sometimes two people can be good people, right? But they're not good for each other. They're different types of people. So during that relationship, I became depressed. I would sit up and I would start to eat and watch TV and watch survival shows and all this kind of horse shit. And I was responsible. I did my job. I worked in the industry. I was getting strong as fuck. But I was just a wreck. I was a wreck. And what happened during those years, I have to be like, I have a lot of that conquered. Like if I'm going to get Doritos, I get the little small bag, right? On the occasion when I eat Doritos. I don't get the big bag. I used to get the big bag and have to eat the whole thing. If I want to try cheesecake, I used to get the whole wheel and eat the whole wheel, right? Now I got that under control. I'll get the small one and I'll just take a bite or two and throw it away. I have things under control, but still that urge to self-abuse doesn't go away. It's part of me. And does that make me weak? It makes me human. But there's too much fake positivity in fitness. There's too much fake positivity in real life and business, etc. And if you're with somebody that tries to, it's like a defense mechanism. It's like self-protection. They have a hard time handling stress, and that's okay. Some people have a hard time handling stress, but that doesn't mean you should necessarily have them in your life. That doesn't mean you should necessarily work for them. HB, when can we expect a new gym tour? Good question. I thought about that yesterday when I was making my video, and I really need to do a tour of the new gym. Raphael, can one be on a surplus by drinking one beer extra a day? Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean, 90%, the 80-90% rule. 80 to 90% of your calories are focused on good nutrient dense food. It's not magical. That's not magical. It's not a magical rule, but we're trying to take care of ourselves. We're trying to be healthy. We're trying to be, we're trying to take care of ourselves. We're trying to eat more than calories. We're trying to take in nutrients. And one beer a day is fine. Absolutely fine. So really, as long as your calories are consistent, your weight is going up where it should be, one beer a day is fine. Sebastian, I'm having a hard time fitting my cardio in my schedule. How long after a meal can I run? If you do any activity with a heavy meal in your stomach, we need to understand the rules of the game. So, and there is wiggle room here. It's not the same case for everybody, and it's not the same case for every meal. But you only have, your body is going to try to decide what to do with its blood. So if you are working out, your blood's going to go to your muscles because that's the urgency, right? To cool you, to get recovery from that set, and it's not going to be working on your digestion. So that food's going to sit in your stomach. What we would do when we go on long runs is after a meal, we would sit, and these are small running meals, right? They're not big meals, but we would sit so we get our heart rate down, we get cool. You want to get cool, and you want to give that meal a chance to digest. So there's two types of meals. There's the meal that is like a small holdover meal, like you would do for breakfast or lunch, or what I do for breakfast or lunch. And then there's kind of the bigger meal. I don't go to like bursting uncomfortable when I eat at night, but I have 1,000-calorie meals at night. I feel kind of good in between, not overly stuffed, but I could not run after that meal. I would need 3 or 4 hours personally. It's just too much in the stomach. So we only have so much time in the day. And I don't know your schedule, Sebastian, but it would be better to run and then eat the meal than to eat the meal and run. If you have an hour block where 30 minutes is eating and 30 minutes is running, I'd do the run if I could, and then the meal. Cornerstone, should a beginner go to the bodybuilding route before chasing strength? They're the same thing. There's no difference. There's no difference at all. Strength, the foundation of strength is built with rep work. It's not built with low rep work. You're not going to do singles, doubles, and triples as a novice and a beginner. If you do, you'll build some strength, but you're not building enough muscle mass, and that's not going to be a platform for future strength. So off-season training is the same thing. It's what I do, power building. It's not strict bodybuilding, fluff and pump work, but what I do is power building. It's off-season work. It's building a base. So check out my workouts at superlivingtoday.com. Richard, have you ever done dumbbell floor flies? I have. They are right. The thing with a fly, Richard, I think my chair is having issues here. The thing with a fly, like people tend to fly, look at your shoulders and look at your elbows, okay? People tend to fly more like this with their elbows, more like their shoulders up here. And it should be more like, I don't know if you can see my elbows here, folks, but it should be more like elbow up. Like you're doing a cable crossover from mid to mid-high, like a fly. You want your elbows to travel down a little bit on a fly and then come up like a bear hug. Most people do flies like this, and that's why their shoulders hurt. I don't particularly like flies because I always feel them grinding my shoulders, and that doesn't mean you can't use them. But I played baseball for a long time and threw a baseball forever, and I don't know that I have the best shoulders to begin with, and I think it's mostly from that, as opposed to lifting. When we were kids, we would go out and throw 200 pitches a day, 6 days a week, and you'd have a dead arm and you'd be up there pitching. That's the way we were with baseball. We didn't. You'd have a dead arm and you'd come back and rest an hour and pitch another full game of strikeout. So you can try them, Richard. There's no magical answer. Just watch your angles and feel free to adjust them and see if that helps. Sandro, for chest, is this enough? 2 upper days, an upper A, push-ups, an upper B? No. Only push-ups on upper day. Close grips are more of a tricep-focused lift, and incline dumbbell. That's 14 sets a week, but push-ups, there's not really a progression opportunity. Push-ups are something in most of my clients' routines, but they're supersetted with dips to really kind of end cap the stress on the chest. But close grip bench is more tricep centric. I'm not a big fan of that program. No, there's adjustments I would definitely make. Bill, that answer to my cutting question was perfect. You bet, Bill. Glad it helped. Rick, advice on how to further progress your chest for a person who can't go to a gym. Yeah, you're not going to get any. You got to become a wizard if you're going to be, build up your chest on body weight stuff, and that's not my lane, Rick. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not trying to be short with you or dismissive. I'm just being honest. I simply could give two fucks about body weight, progressions. I just don't like them. I'm nothing against them. I'm nothing against people that do them. I'm strict power building, dumbbells and barbells and building mass and strength. And I don't know why you can't go to a gym. But there are people out there that have far more knowledge than I do on progressions when it comes to push-ups and body weight stuff. I would check those out because that's nothing I'm passionate about. Can I expect strength gains during a cut? Sometimes. The more strength you have, the harder it is to maintain on a cut. So if you're a novice and you're on a cut, you can build strength and then it'll kind of tail off and you're going to get flat. But, a cut's a short-term thing unless you're morbidly obese, so it doesn't really matter. It's like, can I have sex while walking a tightrope across the Grand Canyon? Probably, but it's only a short-term thing, right? You're not going to be doing it for like 17 years. A cut's a short-term thing. We don't really care. Okay, get in, get the cut over with, get out. It doesn't really matter, right? If you're super morbidly obese and you need to lose weight, yeah, you can gain some strength if you are, if you're not that strong at all. But if you're super strong, you're going to lose some strength. Or if you're moderately strong, you're going to lose some strength. I don't want to lose pressing strength. You got to focus on what you can control. That you can't recreate. You can't do anything magical. You're not losing it forever, Sandra. It's a short-term cut. Get over it. That's my best advice for you guys that are like this. Get over it. It's part of the game. It's a reality. You can't change reality. This isn't the Matrix. And you guys, and I'm not trying to be hard on you guys, but you got to get over it. That's how it works. I lost hundreds of pounds on my lifts when I lost weight. It's the way it works. There's no way. Look, if power lifters could find a way to maintain their strength and cut weight, you'd have 340 pound. You'd have guys eating themselves up to 350, getting huge totals, and then cutting down 80 pounds and having those same totals. Does not work that way. Does not work that way. That's the reality. You are not going to lose strength forever because it's a short-term cut. If you're losing a rep or two, my best advice for you guys is to get over it. Sandra, I don't like shrugs. I don't care. Can non-back supported overhead press replace it? No. Overhead presses are goods for they can involve some of your traps, but they're not a replacement for shrugs. Do you have to do shrugs? No. One thing I don't like in lifting is the attitude I don't like. It's like a kid. I don't like my vegetables. You know what? We're adults. Do what it takes. Do what it takes to get to where you need to go. I do not give 8 fucks if someone doesn't like their vegetables. I do not give 8 fucks if someone doesn't like shrugs. And I'm not trying to be hard on you, Sandra, but I'm just being honest. I do not give 8 fucks if you do not like shrugs. I do not give 8 fucks if you do not like vegetables. If we want to go where we want to go, we need to do what it takes. Overhead press isn't going to replace it. You're going to need to find a shrug variation you do like. Behind the back shrugs, dumbbell shrugs, power shrugs, something. If you want big traps. If you do not want big traps, you don't have to do shrugs. Okay? So Yeah, probably sound like I'm roasting Sandro, but we're adults. Okay, we are adults. If we want result X, then we have to do what it takes to get to result X. As mature adults, we also need to understand if we don't like something, then we're not going to get the result. Okay. Um, if you want to move up in your sales career, but you don't like going to work on time, you got a problem. There's a formula for this stuff. So overhead press does involve the traps, but not to the same degree as a shrug. So there's synergy. Hey guys, curious if you like listening to live albums and if you have a favorite one. Some live albums are really good, and some of it's like song by song. Like Testament has a version of Over the Wall that was done in London, and it's just ridiculous, the energy. It sounds so much better than the album version, just so much better than the album version. And this was just a YouTube recording. John Paul, I'm overweight novice and I started the mini cut since last live stream, and now I've lost 1.5 pounds. Thank you. Good job. Is that normal that I'm having trouble during progressive overload? Absolutely. What's going to happen is your glycogen levels are going to be depleted. You're going to kind of feel flat. Your hormones might be a little bit off. That's okay. Focus on what you can control. Get the cut over with. Just get it over with and get in the habit of lifting, because lifting is so important for your metabolism and your overall quality of life. So you're going to lift anyway, right? Just do what you can do, focus on what you can control, get the weight off as quickly as you can, and get back at it. Edgy, how did you overcome binge eating? A radical lifestyle change, and that's the truth. And it's difficult. I try to stop. I try to lose weight for a long time, and it's not easy. I had a bad health condition where I thought I was going to have a heart attack and die. I literally woke up and for 2 years I didn't cheat on anything. I just eat meats, fruits, and vegetables, healthy fats. That's all I had for 2 years. A radical lifestyle change. And it sounds extreme, but that's what I did. I just completely did it. And even after those first 2 years, like at first, what did I eat at night when I wanted to binge eat? I ate a whole watermelon or half watermelon. I ate all the meat I wanted, or all the, with some cheese. I didn't cut back on food volume. I just chose better foods. And I quickly started to lose weight. And as I lost weight, my problems became diminished. My depression started to go away. I started to look different. I started to feel different. And it really was about changing habits. At first, I didn't restrict food volume. I just only ate real foods, meat, fruits, vegetables. I started cooking, some dairy. And then once that initial weight was off, I started to structure my diet so I started to make myself go to bed at the same time every night. So when I was a binge eater, I would stay up late and I would eat, right? And I started taking sleep habits. So I would be in bed at 9 o'clock every night. So I would structure my meals. I would have my 1,000-calorie meal at 6 and a 300-calorie snack. And I would just go to bed. I didn't leave the door open to those windows where I would binge eat. I didn't bring the food in the house. It's very complex, but we need to do things that fight back against it. Like if you're binge eating at midnight every night, you need to get your ass to bed. You need to eat at 6 and get your ass to bed at 9. And if you don't want to do it, if you don't, most bad binge eating, a lot of it happens when people can't really binge eat at work, right? So a lot of the bad binge eating happens when they get home and at their free time. And that's really when structure means a lot. So I will see people that struggle with eating or binge eating, and they do not give a crap about their sleep habits. They're up too late. They don't have a time they normally go to sleep. They bring stuff in the house, which is such an awful idea. It's like an alcoholic bringing alcohol into the house. So I hope that helps some. All right, guys, we're an hour and 5 minutes in. Keep the questions coming. I'm going to keep rolling as long as I have questions. We have about 15 left in the queue, and I'll try not to rant too much and piss anybody off. I'm not attacking people. I want you to understand I'm not attacking people when I give my honest answers. So I hope you guys understand that. I don't know you, most of you. I just know a name and an avatar. So when you ask me advice, I'm giving the advice for everyone, not just you. I don't know you. I'm not trying to lay a personal attack on you. With the question about I don't like shrugs. That wasn't just about the individual asking the question. It's more, I've been doing this for a long time. And, I'll get people that will say, I don't like compound movements. I don't like vegetables. I don't like going to bed at the same time every night. That's fine. But that's not conducive to your goals. And this isn't the Hogwarts school of magic muscle building and health building. There are rules at play. If you want to be successful, you need to at least have the train on the tracks. And this wasn't about shrugs. It was more about the fact that we need to be really careful with the I don't like mindset. What if I told my wife, I don't like brushing my teeth? Right? I don't like brushing my teeth. Do you think I like brushing my teeth? Do you think I like flossing? It's late at night. I'm going to bed. I don't feel like doing this ritual. I do it anyway. Why? Because I know the consequences. So we have to be really careful with the I don't like mentality. We have to understand what it's going to take to get to our goals. You have to understand the consequences. If you don't like shrugs, that's fine, but you're going to need an equal movement. All right, where are we at? I've been stuck on 3x5 by 145 on bench. That's a pretty strong bench. And we got to be careful tossing around stuck, because at that level of bench, you might add 20 pounds a year. And contemplating just going up to 175 for sets of 3. You could do some concurrent forms of periodization. You need to introduce some variables. So you could maybe introduce chains and a slingshot to work overload 1 week, or you could do threes the next week. You need to introduce some variables or some different things. So I'm not against that at all. I would do some form of concurrent periodization where you're doing 2 different plans of attack every other week, and see if that helps. Preventing or correcting scoliosis, no idea. I don't know anything about it, and I'm not even going to pretend. I've had clients with scoliosis, and I'm not being dismissive. But that's like the commercials, stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night or whatever it is, like one of the toxic things in the fitness industry is this situation right here, where you get a meathead who just loves lifting, and he's asked a question about scoliosis. And it's in this industry, we can be like, well, I'm the expert in fitness, so I'm going to pretend I'm the expert in everything. I don't have a clue. I really don't. I do know that building a strong body has no downsides. I know that whatever condition you have to pay close attention to that condition and make sure what you're doing is not aggravating it. I've had clients with back issues and I've worked with Special Olympians. I know that squats and deadlifts are not always the best choice for everyone. So I wish I could give you more information than that, but I don't know anything about prehab, rehab, scoliosis. I'm very sorry. Sandro, I'm 5'10". I can go from 75 to 90 and vice versa. What should I do first? Doesn't really matter. It's like going in and out of the pool. You're in the pool, you're out of the pool. You're in the pool, you're out of the pool. That's the way the bulk cut world works. And it doesn't really matter. You're going to end up at the same place. So the only thing that really should determine whether you start a cut first is how you feel about your body. If you're struggling with the amount of fat you're carrying around, then I would knock some fat off and then start the bulk. Harut, is it worth tracking finishers? I track everything just for personal reference. So unless it's super duper crazy, you ever done I've done run the rack and back on dumbbell curls at commercial gyms, when you could. And, the focus was more on surviving than counting reps. So to any degree you can, it's absolutely fine. Essentials for a home gym except squat rack, bench, barbell, and dumbbells, maybe dip bar. I just made a video about this yesterday. So check that out. I put together my 10 personal essentials for about $2,500. You got to get a squat rack. I would get an adjustable bench. You need a barbell. And you definitely need dumbbells. If you're serious about hypertrophy, you need dumbbells. After that, I find things like a cable station to be invaluable because you can add lat pull down, seated cable rows, cable tricep extensions, single arm cable crossovers, all kinds of stuff. So that's one of my next purchases. And those are about $500. It's going to be a big cash outlay, but the amount of exercise, the exercise variety you get is great. Dip bars are good. They're cheap. You can put them in a squat rack. You can have standalones. Landmine, not so much. I don't, landmine shoulder presses and Meadows rows are fine. I can do landmine or Meadows rows without having to get a landmine station. I just put the corner of a barbell under a dumbbell or I put a barbell into the corner under a dumbbell, maybe a sandbag on top. It doesn't really move. Landmines, stations aren't that expensive, but so it's kind of an okay purchase if you're going to do landmine shoulder presses and that sort of stuff. Dumbbells, A1. When somebody comes to me and they don't have dumbbells at their home gym, I just want to be Santa Claus and buy them dumbbells because you really, really need that if you're serious about strength and muscle building. HB, if a lifter makes significant progress in a high volume program but starts stalling, would switching to a low volume bring about new gains? People don't really stall. They slow naturally. If you're stalling, something else is going on. It's probably not the program. So it's really hard to say HB, but my clients don't stall, and the amount of people that I've coached, stalling is a fantasy that we create in our head, like I'm stalling. If you're stalling, usually it's not eating enough calories or not enough effort. There's no downside in trying a new program, but a long-term stall, something's going on. A long-term stall is making no progress in a calorie surplus for 4, 5, 6 months. And if that's taking place, usually it's up here. Rick, have to be vaxxed to go to the gyms here. I just closed up my garage and in process of making it a gym. Money is tight, so I'll be taking about a year to complete it. That's the thing, Rick. When you are, building a home gym, it's for most of us, we're not, super rich. It has to be in stages, and that's okay. But just have that next stage. What am I going to get next? And honestly, walk around the house and find everything you can sell on eBay. Because I'd rather have a cable station than 242 books sitting on that shelf, on those shelves. And if I had to sell every one of those books to get a cable station, I would. Rick, if you're in the States, Titan Fitness has the best service and the best overall quality for the money. I have no affiliation with them. And they have, you mentioned dumbbells. They have a set of dumbbells I talked about yesterday on my video. And if you can't do that, you got to look for standard plates on like Facebook Marketplace. Look for standard plates and get 2 spin lock dumbbells. Standard plates are going to be pretty. Like if you get these dumbbell things, these dumbbell setups that you can easily swap out weight. Yeah, they're super convenient. They're also super expensive, and they usually don't have enough weight for a serious lifter. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate it. Done deal. Don't have room for pull-ups. Need an alternative, please. You can do the rack pull-up, where you put the rack in your barbell. You can put your feet up on a bench, and you can do a pull-up like that, where your torso is straight down, but your legs are on a bench. So you got like rack pull-ups. You can do banded pull downs. You can hold on to the bands, or you can hook them under your elbows and then grab them, and you can do banded kind of lat pull downs. What else can you do? You can put bands on a door behind you and lay down, and you can do a pull down like that. There's some funky stuff like that. You can do inverted rows, which are more like a row. But the biggest thing you can do, bands, or you can do the rack pull-ups, where the bar is higher, your feet are on a bench, and you're doing a pull-up like this. So that would probably be the next best exercise. Overweight beginner, eat at maintenance or in deficit? First word of that sentence, overweight. Deficit. Get the fat off, man. Get the fat off, get the fat off, get the fat off. Raphael, bench and dip superset. Bench was terrible. Should I superset bench with something else? What do you mean? Do you mean your performance on bench went down after the first set? Who cares? Work on your work capacity. Bigger picture here. Too many guys in workouts, like, after my first set, my performance went down. That's okay. We're working on work capacity. That's a vital aspect of, making progress. If performance goes down on the second set, that's okay. We work on improving it. So I wouldn't drop dips from the superset because bench performance is going down. Because what you're doing is you're chasing bench numbers, and you introduce a new variable, a superset, and then your bench numbers adjusted to the superset. From there, you have to continue to try to push for progression. In any scenario you're in, you need to try to push for progression. If you don't like the dips superset, don't do it. I don't like doing supersets with my main lifts. My main lift is my bread and butter, BUDDA, butter. I have clients do bench, and then you could do dumbbell bench and dip supersets on something that's less of a mind fuck, or dips and push-ups. Thanks a lot for the advice. I managed to get 3 plates bench. You're welcome. And you guys, if you need a custom workout, don't hesitate to check out my website. How to ignore all these optimal information being sent out to beginners? Just It's all bullshit. Like somehow, it's just stuff for it's just stuff to get views. Optimal isn't a program. Optimal optimal varies for everybody. What you like, what you're able to sustain. It's all nonsense. It's all overthinking. It's all somebody trying to get your attention over somebody else. And you just have to ignore it. Read my book, Massive Iron. There's principles of success. And they have nothing to do with specific optimizing. Yeah, some people need to improve their workouts. A lot of people come to me building their own workouts, and they're like, "Hey, big, hairy, ugly dude, what do you think of this workout?" And I'm going to be honest, like, some of them are like, "Whoa." And people are trying the best they can to learn. So I'm not bashing on people, right? People are trying the best they can to build workouts and understand. I did that. I was there myself. Nothing wrong with that. But some people do need a fine tuning of their workouts. They need more. They need a more optimal. But thinking there's perfect, that's silly. Perfect is up here. It's having big, juicy balls and attacking. The felines and the froggy. Yeah, if you can find used equipment. I mean, this day and age, so many people are doing the home gym thing. It can be hard to find used equipment in some avenues. I'm not up to date on it. You guys probably know more than I do. But you have to kind of look and be patient. Done deal. Cable station or PlayStation. I have a PS4. I don't play it much anymore, though. Got rid of Rocket League. Giuseppe, post not showing. Send it on Instagram. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on one second, guys. I'm going to see if I got any Instagram questions. What do we got? Load. Yep, here's Giuseppe. Recently found out I have gallstones and surgery will be soon. Have to work on my daily eating habits. What are your top favorite lean meats? All right, lean meats. Fish, shrimp. So I don't like a lot of fish. I like steelhead trout. Amazing. Really good. Pork is rather lean. Like pork loins and pork chops, you can cut off the fat. Lean ground turkey. I'm actually waiting for a meat delivery from Force of Nature Foods. And they got some like bison's pretty lean. I get ground bison, I get ground elk, I get wild boar, lower calories than beef. So I'm not sure what dietary issues you're dealing with, Giuseppe. I don't understand it. But those are some pretty solid choices. Thoughts on different rep cadences? Don't like it at all. It's just a waste of time. You want to control the weight, but destroying yourself with eccentrics or slowing the weight, it's just going to wreck form, place more stress on your joints. I'm not a fan of that style of training at all. I trade in barbell rows for meadow rows because the weight has become too light. That's fine. Meadows rows are a good lift. Well, I lose the nope. It's almost impossible to lose muscle. Once you have muscle, it's like pushing a pebble uphill. Super easy to maintain muscle. And as long as you are using reasonable exercises and not, just not skipping training altogether, you're fine. All right, guys, we got about 4 questions left. Last call. Chupenga. All body workouts or splits. Doesn't matter. Get a lot stronger than you are now and be consistent. As you get stronger, full body workouts can become more tedious. But if you like them, go for them. Thank you for always being honest. You're welcome. I appreciate that. Rick, you're welcome. Thank you guys for joining me. Paul, how lean can you be and still be effectively build muscle? Well, most people are never going to get to the point where they're so lean they can't effectively build muscle. Because if you want to get down to like 6, 7, 8%, like get as lean and peeled as you can, the act of maintaining that state would be counterproductive to muscle building because you're always in maintaining. So you would still have to do bulk and cuts. You could get to 10% and bulk 10 pounds and cut 10 pounds and bulk 10 pounds and cut 10 pounds. But, it's just kind of like anybody that's so shredded that they're shockingly shredded and they're trying to maintain weight, they're going to be at a maintenance level. So it's not going to be conducive to muscle building anyway. If you're in Australia, most kangaroo meat is leaner than chicken. My wife's from Australia, but that I did not know. All right, guys, that's it for Massive Iron Live. I appreciate you joining me. I'm here every Friday at 11 Eastern. Please head over to my website if you want a custom workout. I'll build you a bench program. I'm going to be running a special this weekend where I'm going to be building 5 bench programs, 5 only, first come, first serve. I have tons of workouts over there. Tons. Check out the workout tab. And if you want workout ideas, done deal. No, don't go Dodgers. Go Brewers. Head over there and check it out. I have phone consultations available if you need some help, all kinds of good stuff. So, all right, guys, appreciate you joining me. Please come back, do something next Friday. Come back next Friday. And I am out of here.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.